Isaiah Coleman, a 70-year-old black veteran, shuffled down a Memphis street, Vietnam War medals glinting on his jacket, when Sergeant Victor Hensley barked, accusing him of loitering. Fueled by racist scorn, Hensley slammed Isaiah against a wall, cuffing him with brutal force, ignoring his pained protests as smartphones recorded. Jailed, Isaiah's pride crumbled, branded a vagrant. The twist: his son, General Marcus Coleman, a 4-star Army Titan, remains unaware. The viral video erupts, threatening Isaiah's legacy. What will this injustice unleash? Before we dive in, share where you're watching from. If you champion justice, hit like and subscribe, because tomorrow's episode is unmissable. Isaiah Coleman stepped out of the Memphis jail into a sweltering 92-degree morning, his Vietnam War medals tucked away, the sting of Sergeant Victor Hensley's racist handcuffing still raw, his weathered hands trembling with a mix of shame and defiance. The viral video of his arrest fueling protests that echoed through the city's streets, their chants of faint hope against the weight of injustice. His release, secured by a community bail fund organized by the local NAACP, felt like a small victory, his heart lifting as he limped toward his modest home 4 miles from the jail, believing he could clear his name with his son Marcus, a 4-star Army general whose influence could shatter Hensley's lies. Though Marcus was still en route from Washington, unaware of the storm brewing. Isaiah's neighbor, Miss Evelyn, a church elder with a voice like gravel, urged him to speak at a town hall at Beale Street Baptist Church, a historic sanctuary 3 miles away, its stained glass windows glowing under the midday sun, and Isaiah agreed, his chest swelling with the hope of rallying Memphis. Believing the community's outrage would force accountability, his medals polished and pinned back on, a symbol of his service against Hensley's scorn. At the town hall, Isaiah stood before a packed pew, his voice steady but cracked with emotion, recounting the brutal cuffing, denying the loitering charge, and calling for justice. The crowd's applause a warm tide, their fists raised in solidarity. Miss Evelyn nodding, young activists filming, the energy electric. Isaiah convinced he'd turned the tide, his dignity a fragile shield against the city's judgment. But Hensley's malice was a coiled viper, striking with precision, and he leaked a doctored police report to a local news outlet, WBREG, claiming Isaiah had assaulted him during the arrest, the report falsified to paint Isaiah as a violent ex-con. Bruises on Hensley's arm staged, the lie amplified by news anchors with ties to the precinct, their broadcasts twisting Isaiah's veteran status into a cover for a criminal past, the racist stereotype igniting a firestorm, social media erupting with hate, hashtags branding Isaiah a thug, the town hall's unity fracturing, some attendees slipping out, their murmurs cold, Miss Evelyn's face tight with doubt, Isaiah's hope crumbling like ash, his moment of triumph shredded. The media blitz intensified, national outlets picking up the story, their headlines venomous, accusing Isaiah of faking his war record, a black man whose medals were a lie, the racist narrative fueling public scorn, the protests dwindling, their chants drowned by counter-demonstrators waving signs demanding Isaiah's punishment, the city's pulse a hostile rhythm, Marcus still hours away, his phone silent, the Pentagon's bureaucracy delaying his arrival, leaving Isaiah to face the storm alone, his heart heavy, the jail's damp walls a memory that haunted his sleepless nights. Isaiah returned home, his hands shaking as he locked the door, and found a letter from Marcus promising to arrive soon, a flicker of light, prompting Isaiah to dig through old service records, documenting Hensley's pattern of racist arrests, 5 other black men cuffed on flimsy charges, their lives upended, the evidence a lifeline, Isaiah believing he could share it with Marcus to crush Hensley, his resolve hardening as he sent the files to a local civil rights group, his pulse quickening with anticipation. But Hensley's reach was a suffocating fog, and he retaliated, orchestrating a setup, his operatives planting stolen electronics in Isaiah's backyard shed, a tip called into the precinct, leading to a raid that night, officers storming Isaiah's home, their flashlights blinding, their slurs cutting, arresting him for theft, the charge a felony, the stolen goods linked to a local store, the evidence fabricated, Hensley's smirk visible in the lead officer's eyes, Isaiah's hope of vindication crushed, the files ignored, the civil rights group silent, likely pressured, the trial looming, a rigged machine waiting to grind him down. The blows kept coming. Isaiah's church, once a haven, turning cold. The pastor, Reverend Hayes, urging distance, fearing the congregation's safety, their rejection a knife in Isaiah's gut. Miss Evelyn, the only elder to stand by him. Her prayers a faint comfort. The community's betrayal a wound deeper than the jail's bars. Isaiah's isolation complete. His home no longer safe. The raid's wreckage a reminder of Hensley's power. The city a maze of eyes, each glance hostile. The protests now a whisper. The media's lies a roar. Marcus's absence a void. The racist backlash a tide pulling Isaiah under. His medals a burden, not a shield. Their shine mocking his disgrace. The final straw came at midnight, as Isaiah sat alone. The sound of shattering glass jolting him upright, his front porch defaced, his war medals left out to clean, spray painted with racial slurs, the words jagged and hateful, a note pinned to the door reading, "Stay down, old man." The threat chilling his blood, the vandalism a racist dagger. Hensley's operatives a shadow, their work a message. Isaiah's legacy a target, his hands trembling as he scrubbed the paint, each stroke fueling his rage. The community's scorn, the theft charge and the desecrated medals a triple blow, each laced with racial venom. Hensley's empire untouched, his next trap already set. Isaiah's fight for justice, a battle against a system that thrived on his pain. The city a crucible, his survival a question, Marcus's arrival a distant hope, the trial a spectre. Isaiah's heart whispering defiance, his every step a challenge against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah Coleman sat in his Memphis living room, the faint scent of paint thinner lingering from scrubbing racial slurs off his desecrated war medals, his 70-year-old frame heavy with grief after Sergeant Victor Hensley's racist onslaught. The viral handcuffing, the doctored assault report, and the theft charge that turned his church against him. Each blow a jagged shard of injustice piercing his pride, the city's pulse a hostile hum, his hope pinned on his son, General Marcus Coleman, whose 4-star rank promised a shield against Hensley's lies. Marcus arrived at dawn, his uniform crisp, his eyes blazing with fury, the 5-mile drive from the airport a blur, his presence a tower of strength as he embraced Isaiah, vowing to crush Hensley. His voice a low growl, the Pentagon's weight behind him, Isaiah's heart lifting, believing his son's power would clear his name, the theft charge a flimsy house of cards against a general's might. Marcus hired Clara Evans, a razor-sharp lawyer known for dismantling corrupt cops. Her office 2 miles from the courthouse, a war room of legal briefs, and Clara filed a lawsuit against Hensley for racial profiling, her evidence, including the viral video and Isaiah's service records, sparking a hearing, the courtroom's oak paneling a stage for justice. Clara's argument slicing through the prosecutor's deflections, the judge, a neutral figure, nodding, Isaiah believing the lawsuit would expose Hensley, his chest swelling with hope, the gallery's murmurs a tide of support, Marcus's stern gaze a rock, the trial date set, a beacon in the fog. But Hensley's venom was a rising flood, and his allies in the district attorney's office, led by a crony, Paul Whitaker, charged Isaiah with felony assault, citing the doctored report, the charge a steel trap, claiming Isaiah had struck Hensley during the cuffing, the lie backed by staged photos of Hensley's injuries, the media pouncing, their headlines vicious, branding Isaiah a violent black veteran, the racist narrative fueling public outrage. Protests shrinking, their chants drowned by counter-rallies, Isaiah's hope of vindication buckling, the courtroom now a battlefield, the felony charge a guillotine, Marcus's jaw tightening, Clara's face grim, the system's bias a suffocating weight. Isaiah clung to Marcus's promise, believing his general's influence would sway the judge. But Hensley struck deeper, targeting Marcus's daughter, Lena, a 22-year-old Army lieutenant, falsifying her military records to show insubordination, a forged report sent to her commanding officer, threatening her career. Lena's tearful call from her base 6 miles away shattering Isaiah's heart, her voice trembling but defiant. The attack a racist echo of Isaiah's framing. Hensley's operatives exploiting her blackness to pressure Marcus, the family's unity fraying, Isaiah's guilt a lead weight, his medals a mockery. Marcus's rage a storm, the lawsuit's momentum stalling, Clara urging calm, but the strain palpable, the courtroom's promise fading, the felony charge looming. A trial within weeks, Isaiah's freedom a flickering flame. The blows kept coming. The judge, Roland Tate, a Hensley ally under a veneer of impartiality, denying Isaiah's bail, citing public safety, his gavel a hammer, sending Isaiah back to jail. The cell's damp concrete a familiar cage, 4 miles from home. Its bars a reminder of Hensley's reach, the racist system a labyrinth. Isaiah's hope of Marcus's protection a fragile thread, his body aching, his spirit bruised, the family's pain a shared wound. Lena's career in jeopardy, Marcus's calls to the Pentagon ignored. The DA's office a fortress of corruption, Clara's evidence their only weapon, Isaiah's faith in justice a whisper, the trial a spectre, Hensley's smirk a shadow, the racist assault charge a noose tightening, the city's streets a maze of eyes, each glance hostile, the community's betrayal a scar, Miss Evelyn's prayers a distant echo, Isaiah's fight a battle against a machine that thrived on his pain. Clara, undeterred, dug into Hensley's arrest records, uncovering a pattern of racist targeting, 7 black men framed in 2 years, her files a lifeline, Isaiah believing she'd expose Hensley in court, his pulse quickening as she prepared to present them. But Hensley's operatives raided her office that night, a black van screeching away, her files stolen, her computer smashed, her paralegal beaten, the evidence lost. Clara's call to Isaiah a choked whisper, her voice shaking, the raid a death knell. Hensley's allies gloating, the courtroom now a trap, the felony charge unassailable, the lawsuit gutted, Marcus's influence waning, Lena's career crumbling, Isaiah's cell a tomb, the trial's shadow a guillotine, Hensley's next move a phantom, the racist system a hydra, its heads regrowing, Isaiah's fight for justice a veteran stand, his heart whispering Marcus's name, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Have you ever felt the sting of a system that turns your honor into shame, just for who you are, or stood by family when the world tries to tear them apart? Comment number 1 if you believe Isaiah's fight exposes the truth about racist injustice. Hit like and subscribe to follow this saga of courage. What desperate move will Isaiah and Marcus make to fight Hensley's lies? Isaiah Coleman sat in a Memphis jail cell, the damp concrete walls a cold embrace, his 70-year-old bones aching from Sergeant Victor Hensley's racist vendetta, the felony assault charge, Lena's tarnished military record, and the stolen evidence that gutted his lawsuit. Each injustice a hammer blow to his pride, the viral handcuffing video a fading echo, his son General Marcus Coleman's influence a flickering hope, the city's racist pulse a suffocating weight, his war medals a distant memory, their desecration a wound that bled anew. A sympathetic district attorney, Regina Holt, moved by the community's lingering protests, dropped Isaiah's bail, her decision a rare crack in the system's armor, and Isaiah stepped into a muggy 93-degree afternoon, 4 miles from the courthouse, his heart stirring with the belief that freedom could reignite his fight. Marcus's stern nod a promise of justice, Clara Evans, though shaken from the office raid, vowing to rebuild their case, her grit a lifeline, Isaiah's chest lifting as he envisioned exposing Hensley, the felony charge a hurdle they could clear. Marcus, his 4-star general stars gleaming, organized a rally at Memphis's Overton Park, a sprawling green 5 miles from downtown, its stage a platform for truth, believing public support would pressure the city to drop the charges. His military precision guiding the event, thousands gathering, their signs demanding justice. Isaiah's voice roar as he spoke, recounting the cuffing, the theft frame, and Hensley's racist arrests, the crowd's cheers a warm tide. Clara presenting fragments of recovered evidence, Marcus's presence a beacon, Isaiah believing the rally's momentum would shatter Hensley's lies, his hope a flame in the dark, the park's oak trees swaying, the city's pulse alive with defiance. Lena watching from the crowd, her eyes fierce despite her career's peril, the family's unity a rock, the rally a turning point, Isaiah's dignity a fragile shield, the trial weeks away, a battle they could win. But Hensley's malice was a wildfire. consuming hope, and his operatives, disguised as rallygoers, incited a riot, hurling bottles and setting fires, the park erupting into chaos, police in riot gear descending, their batons swinging, tear gas choking the air, the crowd scattering. Isaiah's speech drowned in screams, Marcus shielding Lena, Clara pulling Isaiah back, the rally's message twisted, Hensley's media allies broadcasting the violence, blaming Isaiah as the instigator, the racist narrative, painting him as a black agitator, a violent veteran orchestrating chaos, the public's support crumbling, counter-protests surging, their signs demanding Isaiah's conviction, the city's streets a war zone, Isaiah's triumph a smouldering ruin, his heart sinking, the felony charge now a public mandate, Marcus's rally a trap, the system's bias a steel trap, snapping shut. Isaiah clung to a new lead, Clara uncovering a whistleblower, a former cop named Darius Wells who'd seen Hensley's bribe ledgers, his testimony a potential bombshell, Isaiah believing it could revive their case, his pulse quickening as Clara arranged a secret meeting, Marcus securing a safe house 3 miles away, the family's resolve a flicker, the trial's shadow looming, Isaiah thinking he'd gained ground, his faith in justice a stubborn spark, Lena's courage a mirror, the whistleblower's words a lifeline, Clara's notes a shield, the rally's failure a wound but one they could overcome. But Hensley's operatives were relentless, leaking a deep-fake video to national news, showing Isaiah confessing to assault and theft, the footage so seamless it fooled even Clara's team, the anchor's voice grave, the video airing to millions. Discrediting Isaiah, the racist stereotype amplified, headlines screaming of a black criminal's deception, the public's outrage a noose, protests collapsing, Darius retracting his testimony terrified by Hensley's threats, the safe house meeting cancelled, Isaiah's hope a fading ember, the deepfake a death knell, the trial a guillotine, Marcus's face etched with fury, Lena's career in tatters, Clara's evidence useless, the city's pulse a hostile roar, the racist backlash a tidal wave, Isaiah's dignity a tattered flag, his jail cell a memory, his freedom a cruel jest, the system's weight a mountain, Hensley's allies untouchable, the whistleblower's silence a betrayal, the media's lies a storm, Isaiah's fight a veteran's stand, his heart whispering Marcus's promise, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. The riot, deepfake and whistleblower's retraction were a triple blow, each laced with racial venom, Hensley's empire thriving on prejudice, his framing of Isaiah a microcosm of systemic injustice, the rally's chaos a trap, the deepfake a blade, the city a labyrinth. Hensley's next move a phantom, Isaiah's hope a flicker, Marcus's influence waning, Lena's future dim, Clara's fight a whisper, the trial a spectre, Isaiah's body weary, his spirit bruised, his medals a burden, the racist system a hydra, its heads regrowing, Isaiah's fight for justice, a battle against a machine that thrived on his pain, his every step a challenge, his heart pounding with defiance. The city's skyline a jagged promise, his survival a miracle, the trial's shadow a noose, Hensley's smirk a shadow, Isaiah's vow to fight on a fire, his family's love a fading light, the system's weight a boulder, his fight of veterans, cry the city a crucible, each dawn a challenge against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah Coleman hunched in a Memphis jail cell, the 5-by-7-foot space a dank prison, his 70-year-old frame trembling under the weight of Sergeant Victor Hensley's racist crusade, the felony assault charge, Lena's tarnished military record, and the deepfake video that crushed the Overton Park rally, each injustice a jagged blade carving his dignity, the viral handcuffing a distant wound, General Marcus Coleman's military might a fading hope, the city's racist venom a suffocating fog, his war medals a memory defiled by slurs, their shine lost to Hensley's hate. The trial loomed 3 weeks away, a rigged execution, but Isaiah's spirit clung to defiance, his Vietnam War grit a spark, his faith in Marcus and Clara Evans, his battered lawyer, a fragile thread, the cell's flickering light mocking his resolve, the guards' slurs a daily lash, their racist taunts echoing Hensley's scorn, each word a reminder of the system's bias. Isaiah's body aching, his heart heavy with Lena's peril. Marcus's suspended clearance a chain, the rally's chaos. A scar, the deepfake a noose. The city's pulse a hostile roar, his fight a veteran stand against a machine that thrived on his pain. In the mess hall, amid the clatter of trays and the stench of stale soup, Isaiah met Jamal Reed, a 30-year-old inmate with a jagged scar and a story of Hensley's framing, jailed for a robbery he swore he didn't commit, his eyes glinting with shared rage. His claim of overhearing guards discuss Hensley's bribe ledgers a bombshell. Isaiah's pulse quickening, believing this alliance could expose Hensley, his mind racing with plans to smuggle evidence to Clara, a lifeline in the dark. Jamal's. Not a pact. Their whispered talks a conspiracy. Isaiah's hope surging, convinced they'd outmaneuver Hensley, the trial a battle they could win. Marcus's arrival a distant promise. Lena's courage a mirror. The cell block's shadows a stage for rebellion. Isaiah's heart whispering defiance. The ledgers a key to justice. His faith in Clara a flame. The rally's failure a wound. But one they could overcome. The deep fake a lie they could shatter. The system's weight a boulder, Isaiah's spirit a spark. His survival a question. The city a crucible. Each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. They devised a plan. Jamal slipping a coded note into a kitchen tray bound for the outside, addressed to Clara, detailing the ledger's location. Isaiah believing their scheme would break Hensley's grip, his chest swelling with anticipation. The first real victory since his release. The cell's damp walls a backdrop to their defiance. The guards' patrols a rhythm they dodged. The note's journey a prayer. Isaiah's hope a flame. The trial's shadow a guillotine. But one they could dodge. Marcus's influence a distant star. Lena's peril a weight. The deep fake a storm. The rally's chaos a memory. Isaiah's fight a veteran's cry. His heart pounding with purpose. The system's bias a hydra. Its heads regrowing. Isaiah's resolve a fire. His survival a miracle. The city's pulse a challenge. Each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's paranoia was a living beast, his spies slithering through the jail. And a guard loyal to Hensley coerced Jamal with threats to his family, forcing him to betray Isaiah, planting contraband, a bag of pills, in Isaiah's cell. During a routine search, the discovery a thunderclap, guards dragging Isaiah to solitary confinement, a pitch-black 4x4 footbox, the air stale, time dissolving into despair, his body bruised from their rough hands, their racist slurs. A lash, the betrayal, a knife in his gut. Jamal's guilty eyes a fleeting glance, the note lost, the ledgers a mirage. Isaiah's hope crumbling, the trial a noose, Marcus's promise a whisper, Lena's peril a void, the deep fake a shadow, the rally's chaos a scar, the system's weight a mountain, Isaiah's spirit bruised, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. In solitary, Isaiah scratched a desperate message onto a tray, begging a janitor to contact Clara, believing he'd salvaged a chance, his heart clinging to faith, the darkness a test, his body aching, his spirit fraying, the trial's shadow, a guillotine but one he could face. Marcus's influence a flicker, Lena's courage a beacon, the deep fake a lie, the rally's failure a wound, Isaiah's fight a veteran's stand, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each drawn a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's operatives struck again, ambushing Clara outside her home 3 miles from the jail, 2 masked men beating her into a coma, her briefcase torched, the janitor's message lost, the hospital's sterile halls a grim testament to Hensley's ruthlessness. News of the attack reaching Isaiah through a guard's taunt, his chest collapsing with guilt, another ally silenced. The ledger's a ghost, the trial a spectre, Marcus's promise a fading star, Lena's peril a storm, the deepfake a noose, the rally's chaos a memory, the system's bias a hydra, its heads regrowing, Isaiah's hope a fading ember, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Hensley's malice didn't stop, spreading rumors through the jail that Isaiah was a snitch, the lie turning inmates against him, their glares sharpening into threats, the yard a minefield, each step a gamble, and on a humid 90-degree evening, 3 inmates cornered Isaiah, their shivs flashing, their slurs echoing the guards, a racist assault fueled by Hensley's whispers, Isaiah fighting back, his old soldier's instincts surfacing, but a blade grazed his arm, blood seeping. His survival a miracle owed to a guard's lazy intervention, the attack leaving him battered, his body a map of pain. The solitary stint, Clara's assault, and the inmate attack a triple blow, each steeped in racial venom, Hensley's empire thriving on prejudice, the system a cage, Isaiah's fighter, veteran's cry, his heart whispering Marcus's name, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each dawn a challenge against a world that sought to break him. Have you ever trusted someone only to feel the sting of their betrayal in a fight for justice? Or faced a system so cruel it turns allies into enemies? Comment number 1. If you stand with Isaiah against this racist machine, hit like and subscribe. To follow his battle, can Isaiah escape the jail's deadly grip to expose Hensley's corruption? Isaiah Coleman crouched in the shadows of a Memphis jail's loading bay, his 70-year-old body bruised from the inmate assault, the sting of Jamal's betrayal and Clara's coma a searing weight, his heart pounding under the relentless tide of Sergeant Victor Hensley's racist vendetta, the felony assault charge, Lena's tarnished record, and the deepfake that crushed his rally, each injustice a barbed wire around his soul. General Marcus Coleman's military might a distant hope, the city's racist pulse a suffocating storm, his war medals a defiled memory, their honor buried under Hensley's hate. The trial was 2 weeks away, a rigged noose tightening. But Isaiah's Vietnam War instincts flared, his resolve a steel thread, his faith in Marcus and Lena a fragile anchor, the jail's flickering lights a taunt, the guards' slurs a daily whip, their racist venom echoing Hensley's scorn. Isaiah's body aching, his spirit frayed, the cell's damp walls a tomb, Clara's loss a void, Jamal's treachery a scar, the deep fake a shadow, the rally's chaos a wound, his fight a veteran stand against a system that thrived on his pain. A delivery truck idled nearby, its driver distracted, and Isaiah seized the moment, slipping into a crate, his arthritic hands prying wood. The truck rumbling 5 miles toward Memphis, his breath shallow, the hope of exposing Hensley a fire in his chest, his escape a defiant act against a system that branded his blackness a crime. Marcus's promise a beacon, Lena's peril a weight, the trial a specter, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Emerging in a gritty alley under a 91-degree night sky, Isaiah donned a stolen hoodie, his face obscured, believing he could rally Marcus to clear his name, his fugitive status a gamble, his war-honed cunning a shield, the city's neon glow a maze of danger, his heart whispering defiance, the system's bias a hydra, its heads regrowing, Isaiah's resolve a flame, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. He tracked down Simone Carter, a fearless journalist who'd exposed City Hall scandals, finding her in a dive bar 3 miles from the precinct, her sharp eyes narrowing as Isaiah shared his story, the handcuffing, the theft frame, the deep fake, and Hensley's racist arrest pattern. His voice cracked but fierce, pleading for her to publish his truth, Simone's nod a lifeline, her laptop humming as she drafted an exposé, linking Hensley's bribes to 7 framed black men, the story hitting online, spreading like wildfire, igniting protests outside the mayor's office, their chants shaking the humid air. Isaiah believing he'd turned the tide, his chest swelling with hope, the public's rage a sword against Hensley's lies, Marcus's delayed arrival a shadow, Lena's peril a storm, the trial a guillotine but one they could face, the deep fake a lie they could shatter, the rally's chaos a memory, Isaiah's fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's malice was a tempest, twisting triumph into ruin, and he branded Isaiah a fugitive terrorist, his face plastered on every Memphis news channel, the label a racist dog whistle, painting him as a black menace, a violent veteran, threatening order, the protests splintering, their purpose warped by Hensley's media allies who spun the unrest as Isaiah's plot, the city's streets a battlefield, tear gas clouding the night, the public's support fading, counter-demonstrators surging, their signs demanding Isaiah's capture, the exposé's light dimming, Isaiah's hope a flickering ember, the trial a noose, Marcus's promise a whisper, Lena's peril a void, the deepfake a shadow, the rallies, chaos a scar, the system's weight a mountain, Isaiah's spirit bruised, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Simone, shaken, vowed to dig deeper, but Hensley's operatives moved faster, bribing her editor with $40,000 to retract the exposé, replacing it with a statement disavowing Isaiah, claiming he'd forged evidence. The betrayal. A sledgehammer. Simone's apology a choked whisper, the protests collapsing, the city's pulse a hostile roar, the racist narrative a tidal wave, Isaiah's dignity a tattered banner, the trial a spectre, Marcus's influence waning, Lena's career crumbling, the deepfake a storm, the rally's chaos a wound, Isaiah's fight a veteran's stand, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. Worse, Hensley's allies in the army restricted Marcus's movements, citing security risks tied to Isaiah's terrorist label, locking him in a Pentagon review 600 miles away, his calls to Memphis ignored, the suspension a racist. Echo of Lena's framing, the family's unity fraying, Isaiah's guilt a lead weight, his escape a hollow victory, the city a labyrinth, each corner a threat, his heart whispering Marcus's name, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah fled to a safe house, a derelict motel 4 miles from downtown, secured by a protester, believing he could regroup, his mind racing to salvage proof. The ledger's Jamal mentioned a ghost, his fingers trembling as he searched Simone's. Retracted files, finding scraps of data, a faint trail to Hensley's accounts, but Hensley's operatives tracked him, a black SUV screeching outside, its doors flying open, 3 mercenaries storming the motel, their guns drawn, their slurs spitting, the room exploding in gunfire, Isaiah diving behind a bed, his war instincts guiding him, glass shattering as he crawled to a window, his lungs burning, but the mercenaries torched the safe house, flames devouring the files, a gas canister's blast knocking Isaiah into the street, his arm bleeding, his body battered, the evidence ash, the terrorist label, Simone's betrayal and the ambush a triple blow, each steeped in racial venom, Hensley's empire thriving on prejudice, the system a cage, Isaiah's fight of veterans, cry his heart whispering Marcus's name, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each dawn a challenge against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah Coleman limped through Memphis's rain-drenched alleys, his 70-year-old frame battered from the safe house ambush, blood seeping from his grazed arm, the ghost of Simone's betrayal and Sergeant Victor Hensley's racist terrorist, label a crushing weight, the city's manhunt a relentless predator, General Marcus Coleman's military might shackled by Pentagon restrictions, Lena's career in tatters, the viral handcuffing a fading wound, the deepfake a lingering poison, the rally's chaos a scar, Isaiah's war medals a defiled memory, their honor buried under Hensley's hate, his fugitive status a noose, the trial a rigged guillotine, his Vietnam War grit a fading ember, his hope pinned on Marcus and Lena a fragile thread, the city's racist venom a suffocating storm, his fight a veteran's stand against a system that thrived on his pain. Hiding in a derelict auto shop 4 miles from downtown, Isaiah's breath hitched as he spotted a figure in the gloom. Tanya Blake, a rogue cop with a scarred jaw and a history of defying corrupt brass, her eyes burning with guilt over past complicity in Hensley's schemes, her offer of proof, a flash drive with Hensley's election-rigging emails, a bombshell that made Isaiah's heart race, believing this alliance could expose Hensley's empire, her defiance a lifeline in the tempest, his resolve a flame, the trial a spectre, Marcus's promise a whisper, Lena's peril a void, the deepfake a shadow, the rally's chaos a wound, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Tanya revealed Hensley's ties to a mayoral candidate, funneling bribes to protect his network, and proposed infiltrating a police gala at the Peabody Hotel, 3 miles away, to steal physical ledgers confirming the emails, Isaiah's war instincts, guiding their plan, his hopes surging as they slipped into the gala's glitz. Tanya in a stolen uniform, Isaiah posing as a janitor, their steps silent, the chandeliers casting golden light, the ledgers locked in a safe backstage. Isaiah's fingers trembling as he cracked it, the pages heavy with Hensley's sins, believing they'd secured victory, his chest swelling with anticipation, the trial a battle they could win, Marcus's influence a distant star, Lena's courage a beacon, the deepfake a lie, the rally's chaos a memory, his fight a veteran's cry, the system's bias a hydra, its heads regrowing, Isaiah's resolve a fire, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's paranoia was a tripwire, his mole, a bartender named Carl Vaughan, triggering a silent alarm, locking the gala in a steel cocoon, shutters slamming down, trapping Isaiah and Tanya in a maze of velvet curtains, their escape cut off, Isaiah's pulse hammering as strobe lights flashed, security swarming, Hensley's voice barking over radios, his racist slurs a lash, the ledgers slipping from Isaiah's grasp, his triumph crumbling, the trial a noose, Marcus's promise a whisper, Lena's peril a void, the deep fake a shadow, the rally's chaos a scar, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. They sprinted toward a service exit, Tanya's gun drawn, but Vaughan's squad ambushed them, bullets tearing through silk, Tanya taking a shot to the chest, her body crumpling, blood pooling as Isaiah dragged her behind a table, her gasps a countdown. Her final words urging him to fight, her death in his arms a searing wound, shattering Isaiah's spirit. The ledgers lost. Isaiah scrambling through a vent, his lungs burning, emerging in a rain-soaked alley, his body battered. The gala a pyre, Hensley's media allies spinning the break-in as Isaiah's terrorist attack. The racist narrative painting him as a black warlord, a violent veteran orchestrating chaos. The manhunt intensifying, helicopters buzzing, their spotlights slicing the 90-degree night. The city's streets a war zone, protests reigniting, but twisted. Their signs demanding Isaiah's blood, the public's rage a noose, the trial a guillotine, Marcus's promise a fading star, Lena's peril a storm, the deepfake a shadow, the rally's chaos a wound, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah checked the flash drive, his hands trembling only to find it corrupted. Tanya's sacrifice in vain, Hensley's operatives having sabotaged it remotely, the betrayal a blade in his gut, the ledgers a ghost, the trial a spectre, Marcus's influence locked away, Lena's career crumbling, the deepfake a storm, the rally's chaos a scar, the system's bias a hydra, its heads regrowing, Isaiah's hope a dying ember, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each dawn a test, against a world that sought to break him. The lockdown, Tanya's death, and the sabotaged files were a triple blow, each laced with racial venom, Hensley's empire thriving on prejudice, the system a cage, Isaiah's fight a veteran's cry, his heart whispering Marcus's name, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each dawn a challenge against a world that sought to break him. Have you ever lost an ally who risked everything for truth, their sacrifice fueling your fight, or felt the weight of a racist system that brands you a villain for seeking justice? Comment number 1. If you believe Isaiah's struggle exposes the rot of corruption, hit like and subscribe to follow his battle. What desperate move will Isaiah make to save his family and topple Hensley? Isaiah Coleman huddled in a Memphis storm drain, the dank chill seeping into his 70-year-old bones, his grazed arm throbbing under a makeshift bandage, the agony of Tanya's death and Sergeant Victor Hensley's racist terrorist label a crushing weight, the city's manhunt a ravenous beast, General Marcus Coleman's military influence shackled by Pentagon restrictions, Lena's career in ruins, the viral handcuffing a fading scar, the deepfake a venomous lie, the rallies, chaos a wound, Isaiah's war medals a defiled memory, their honor buried under Hensley's hate, His fugitive status a death sentence, the trial a rigged guillotine, his Vietnam War resolve a dwindling spark, his hope pinned on Marcus and Lena, a fragile thread, the city's racist pulse a suffocating storm, his fight a veteran stand against a system that thrived on his pain. Starving and hunted, Isaiah slipped into a boarded-up laundromat 5 miles from downtown, its rusted machines a refuge, where he tapped into a weak Wi-Fi signal, his trembling fingers contacting a hacker contact, Zara Lynn, a reclusive prodigy, who'd once exposed corporate fraud, her encrypted chat a lifeline. Isaiah believing a public broadcast could reveal Marcus's 4-star general status and Hensley's corruption. Her daring move to sway Memphis, Tanya's sacrifice urging him forward, his heart pounding with the hope of vindication, the trial a spectre, Marcus's promise a whisper, Lena's peril a void, the deep fake a shadow, the rally's chaos a wound, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Using Zara's code, Isaiah hacked a Memphis news station, WMCA, his face appearing on screens citywide during the evening broadcast, the anchor stunned as Isaiah spoke, his voice cracked but fierce, revealing Marcus as a 4-star general, exposing Hensley's racist arrests, the handcuffing, the theft frame, the deepfake, and the election-rigging bribes. His words a thunderclap sparking protests outside City Hall, their chants shaking the 92-degree dusk, thousands rallying, their signs demanding justice. Isaiah believing he'd shattered Hensley's lies, his chest swelling with hope, the public's roar a shield against the manhunt, Marcus's restricted status a shadow, Lena's peril a storm, the trial a guillotine but one they could face, the deep fake a lie they could shatter, the rally's chaos a memory, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's cunning was a viper, striking with precision, and he unleashed a deep-fake video aired minutes after Isaiah's broadcast, showing Marcus confessing to treason, the footage so seamless it fooled even Zara's team, the anchor, pivoting to denounce the Colemans, the protests fracturing, confusion spreading, Hensley's media allies amplifying the fake, branding Marcus a traitor, a black general whose rank masked a criminal heart, the racist narrative reigniting public scorn. Counter-demonstrators surging, their signs demanding the family's arrest, Isaiah's triumph a smoldering ruin, his hope a flickering ember, the trial a noose, Marcus's promise a fading star, Lena's peril a void, the deep fake a storm, the rally's chaos a wound, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Hensley escalated his assault, his operative storming Lena's apartment 6 miles away, kidnapping her in a black van, her muffled screams a dagger in Isaiah's nightmares, a ransom note sent to his burner phone demanding he surrender by midnight or Lena would die, the threat a sledgehammer to his soul, Isaiah refusing to yield, believing he could save her, his mind racing to track the van's signal with Zara's help, their digital hunt a desperate race, the laundromat's flickering bulbs mocking his dwindling options, Marcus's restricted status a chain, the trial a spectre, the deep fake a shadow, the rally's chaos a scar, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's operatives were relentless, leaking Lena's kidnapping to the press, spinning a story that Isaiah had orchestrated it to gain sympathy, the headlines vicious, accusing him of endangering his granddaughter, a black fugitive manipulating his family's pain, the betrayal twisting Isaiah's gut, his love for Lena weaponized, the public's outrage a noose, protests collapsing, the army suspending Marcus outright, a formal statement broadcast nationwide, citing his ties to a terrorist, stripping his general's stars, the move orchestrated by Hensley's Pentagon allies, the suspension a racist echo of Lena's framing, the family's unity shattered, Isaiah's guilt a lead weight, his broadcast a boomerang, the city a labyrinth, each corner a threat, his heart whispering Marcus's name, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. The deepfake, Lena's kidnapping, and Marcus's suspension were a triple blow, each steeped in racial venom, Hensley's empire thriving on prejudice, the system a cage, Isaiah's fight a veteran's cry, his heart whispering Marcus's name, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each dawn a challenge against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah Coleman staggered through a Memphis sewer tunnel, the fetid air clawing at his 70-year-old lungs, his grazed arm seeping blood, the crushing weight of Lena's kidnapping, and Sergeant Victor Hensley's racist, deepfake branding general. Marcus Coleman, a traitor, a relentless tide, the city's manhunt, a ravenous wolf. Marcus's army suspension, a shackle, the viral handcuffing, a fading scar, the rally's chaos, a wound, Tanya's death, a searing loss, Isaiah's war medals, a defiled memory, their honor buried under Hensley's hate, his fugitive status, a death knell, the trial, a rigged guillotine, his Vietnam War resolve, a flickering ember, his hope pinned on saving Lena, a fragile spark, the city's racist venom, a suffocating storm, his fight a veteran's stand against a system that thrived on his pain. Starving and hunted, Isaiah traced a faint GPS signal from Lena's phone, a breadcrumb left by Hensley's operatives, leading to a derelict warehouse 7 miles from downtown, his heart pounding with the desperate need to rescue his granddaughter. His fugitive gamble a soldier's vow, Marcus's restricted status a shadow, the trial a spectre, the deepfake a storm, the rally's chaos a wound, Tanya's death a void, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. He contacted a hacker collective, Code Strike, a clandestine group evading Hensley's reach. Their leader, Kai, a lean tech wizard with a vendetta against corrupt cops, agreeing to aid Isaiah's rescue, their encrypted comms a lifeline, Isaiah believing he'd regained control, his mind mapping the warehouse's layout, its rusted cranes a grim fortress, his war instincts sharpening, Lena's courage a beacon, the trial a guillotine, but one he could face, Marcus's promise a whisper, the deepfake a lie, the rallies, chaos a memory, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. Under a starless 90-degree night, Isaiah and Code Strike infiltrated the warehouse, their boots silent on cracked concrete, Kai's drones disabling cameras, Lena's faint sobs guiding them through tangled steel, and Isaiah found her, bound and battered but defiant, her eyes blazing, his heart soaring as he cut her free, believing he'd outwitted Hensley, the rescue a fleeting triumph, their escape a sprint through a labyrinth of crates, drones buzzing. Cover. Lena's hand in his a lifeline, his hope a flame, the trial a spectre, Marcus's promise a fading star, the deepfake a shadow, the rally's chaos a wound, Tanya's death a void, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's operatives were spectres, their trap sprung as Isaiah and Lena neared the exit, floodlights blazing, mercenaries encircling them, their rifles drawn, Kai's teams scattering, the drones jammed, the rescue unraveling, Isaiah shielding, Lena, his body a barrier believing he could save her, his love a desperate shield, the trial a noose, Marcus's promise a whisper, the deepfake a storm, the rally's chaos a scar, Tanya's death a wound, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Code Strike rallied, their drones distracting the mercenaries, and Isaiah escaped with Lena, collapsing in a safe house 4 miles away, a rotting tenement, believing they'd won. His arms around Lena, her trembling breath a miracle, their reunion. A spark, the trial a guillotine, but one they could face. Marcus's promise a flicker, the deepfake a lie, the rally's chaos a memory, Tanya's death a void, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah debriefed Kai, uncovering Hensley's plan to rig a governor's race, funneling bribes to a candidate to shield his network, exposed in Code Strike's intercepted texts, and Isaiah saw a chance to strike, leaking the texts to Senator Eliza Moore, a reformist with a record of fighting police corruption, her office 3 miles from the safe house, her vow to investigate making Isaiah believe he'd secured a powerful ally, his hope a candle in the dark, Lena's defiance a mirror, the trial a spectre. Marcus's promise a fading star, the deepfake a shadow, the rally's chaos a wound, Tanya's death a void, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's malice was a hurricane, obliterating hope, and his operatives assassinated Senator Moore in her office, a sniper's bullet through her window, her body found at dawn, the murder pinned on Isaiah, a forged manifesto in his name, splashed across headlines, accusing him of killing to destabilize Memphis, the racist narrative painting him as a black terrorist warlord, a violent veteran orchestrating chaos, the public's outrage a noose, protests collapsing, the city's pulse a hostile roar, the trial a guillotine, Marcus's promise a whisper, the deepfake a storm, the rally's chaos a scar, Tanya's death a wound, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Hensley's hackers exposed CodeStrike's network, their safe houses raided, Kai and his team arrested, their gear seized, the collective's collapse a gut punch, Isaiah's allies erased, the leak to Moore a fatal misstep, the safe house compromised, Lena's safety a fleeting dream, the trial a spectre, Marcus's promise a fading star, the deepfake a shadow, the rally's chaos a memory, Tanya's death a void, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Hensley filed terrorism charges against Isaiah, the accusation a death sentence, broadcast nationwide, the media claiming he'd masterminded a conspiracy, his blackness a scapegoat for systemic fears, the army's suspension of Marcus a footnote. The public convinced Isaiah was a monster, Memphis a cauldron of hate, the senator's assassination, CodeStrike's arrests, and the terrorism charges a triple blow, each steeped in racial venom, Hensley's empire thriving on prejudice, the system a cage, Isaiah's fight a veteran's cry, his heart whispering Marcus's name, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each dawn a challenge against a world that sought to break him. Have you ever risked all to save family, only to be branded a villain by a racist system? Or felt the despair of losing allies to a machine that buries truth? Comment number 1. If you believe Isaiah's fight exposes systemic corruption, hit like and subscribe to follow his battle. What daring gamble will Isaiah take to save Lena and defeat Hensley? Isaiah Coleman clutched Lena's hand in a Memphis alley, the humid 91-degree night pressing against his 70-year-old frame. His grazed arm, a throbbing reminder of Sergeant Victor Hensley's racist onslaught, the senator's assassination, CodeStrike's collapse, and the terrorism charges branding him a black warlord, the city's manhunt a merciless predator, General Marcus Coleman's army suspension a chain, the viral handcuffing a distant wound, Tanya's death a searing loss, Isaiah's war medals a defiled memory, their honor buried under Hensley's hate, his fugitive status a death sentence, the trial a rigged guillotine, his Vietnam War resolve a waning spark, his hope pinned on protecting Lena, a fragile flame, the city's racist venom a suffocating storm, his fight a veteran's stand against a system that thrived on his pain. Knowing Hensley's mercenaries were closing in, Isaiah made a desperate choice, surrendering to the police at dawn, believing Marcus's general status, though tarnished, could sway the jury, his heart pounding as he kissed Lena's forehead, entrusting her to a loyal activist, Miss Evelyn, hiding in a safe house 4 miles away, her faith a rare anchor in a sea of betrayal, the trial a battlefield, Isaiah's body aching, his spirit bruised, Marcus's promise a whisper, Lena's peril a void, the deepfake a storm, the rally's chaos a scar, Tanya's death a wound, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah walked into the precinct, hands raised, the air thick with tension, officers swarming, their cuffs biting his wrists, their slurs echoing Hensley's hate. But Isaiah's calm rattled them, his war-honed dignity a silent defiance, the courthouse 3 miles away his next arena, the trial's opening gavel a distant thunder, his hope a flickering ember, the system's bias a hydra, its heads regrowing, Isaiah's resolve a fire, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. Assigned a new lawyer, Nadia Patel, a fierce advocate who'd toppled corrupt officials, Isaiah felt a surge of hope, her sharp mind dissecting Hensley's lies, recovering fragments of Code Strike's election-rigging texts, a bombshell linking Hensley to a governor's race, Nadia's office 2 miles from the courthouse a war room of legal briefs, her voice a blade as she prepped Isaiah in a holding cell, believing the courtroom could be their victory. The trial a battle they could win, Marcus's restricted status a shadow, Lena's peril a storm, the deep fake a shadow, the rally's chaos a memory, Tanya's death a void, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse, a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. In the courtroom, a vault of polished mahogany and cold justice, Nadia presented the election-rigging evidence, her arguments slicing through the prosecutor's objections, the jury's eyes flickering with doubt, her testimony linking Hensley's. Bribes to a candidate swaying the gallery, Isaiah believing he'd cleared his name, his chest swelling with hope. A juror, a retired nurse named Sarah Wells, nodding in agreement, a rare ally, the judge's stern face softening. The trials. Momentum a tide, Marcus watching from the back. His suspended status a weight, Lena safe but shaken. The deep fake a lie, the rally's chaos a wound, Tanya's death a scar, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's corruption was a serpent, coiling tighter, and he bribed the jury foreman Walter Klein, a former deputy, with a grudge against reformers, planting forged bank records in the jury room, claiming Isaiah funded terrorism, the evidence tainting Nadia's case, Walter's whispers turning jurors against Isaiah, their stares hardening. Sarah's doubt drowned, Isaiah's triumph slipping like dust through his fingers, the trial a noose, Marcus's promise a fading star, Lena's peril a void, the deep fake, a storm, the rally's chaos a memory, Tanya's death a wound, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Nadia fought back, cross-examining a precinct witness, exposing flaws in the deep fake, and Sarah questioned the forged record's authenticity, her voice a spark, making Isaiah believe he'd regained ground. The courtroom's tension alive. Wire, the judge's gavel a heartbeat, the trial a battle, Marcus's eyes blazing, Lena's courage a beacon, the deep fake a lie, the rally's chaos a scar, Tanya's death a void, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's operatives struck again, staging a bomb threat mid-trial. A chilling call claiming Isaiah's supporters had planted explosives, the courthouse evacuated, chaos erupting as deputies rushed Isaiah to a holding cell, the media pouncing, accusing him of orchestrating the threat, the racist narrative painting him as a black terrorist mastermind, the public's fleeting sympathy crushed, protests outside turning hostile, their signs demanding his execution, the trial delayed indefinitely, the jury's bias cemented, Nadia's evidence buried, Marcus's restricted status a chain, Lena's peril a storm, the deep fake a shadow, the rally's chaos a wound, Tanya's death a scar, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Hensley's allies tampered with Marcus's military convoy, 6 miles from Memphis, cutting its brakes, sending it crashing into a ravine. Marcus hospitalized in critical condition, the news reaching Isaiah through a guard's taunt, his heart splintering. Another ally wounded. The terrorism charges piling onto conspiracy, the prosecutor gloating, the media claiming Isaiah had planned the crash, the racist lie a noose, the trial a spectre, Lena's peril a void, the deep fake a storm, the rally's chaos a memory, Tanya's death a wound, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah was transferred to a brutal prison, ironclad 9 miles outside Memphis. Its guards Hensley's puppets, their batons gleaming, their slurs a ritual, the prison's concrete walls a tomb, his cell a 6-by-8-foot cage, the flickering light mocking his despair, the jury tampering bomb threat, and Marcus's crash a triple blow, each laced with racial venom. Hensley's empire thriving on prejudice, the system a cage. Isaiah's fight a veteran's cry, his heart whispering. Lena's name, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each dawn a challenge against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah Coleman lay on a threadbare cot in ironclad prison, 9 miles from Memphis's heart. The 6-by-8-foot cell a suffocating cage, his 70-year-old body racked with pain from the grazed arm and cracked ribs, the weight of Sergeant Victor Hensley's racist vendetta a crushing boulder, Lena's safety a fragile prayer, Marcus's hospitalization a fresh wound, the terrorism and conspiracy charges a death sentence, the viral handcuffing a distant scar, Tanya's death a searing loss, Isaiah's war medals a defiled memory, their honor buried under Hensley's hate, his fugitive days a fading echo, the trial's indefinite delay a rigged guillotine, his Vietnam War resolve a dwindling ember, his hope pinned on Lena and Miss Evelyn, a fragile spark, the city's racist venom a suffocating storm, his fight a veteran stand against a system that thrived on his pain. The prison's flickering lights buzzed like wasps, casting shadows over guards who spat slurs, their batons gleaming with menace, each day a gauntlet of racial hatred, their racist taunts echoing Hensley's scorn, Isaiah's body aching, his spirit frayed. The cell's concrete walls a tomb, Marcus's crash a void, Lena's peril a storm, the deep fake a shadow, the rally's chaos a wound, Tanya's death a scar, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. In the yard, under a blistering 93-degree sun, Isaiah overheard inmates muttering about Hensley's influence, guards pocketing bribes to punish prisoners, a mirror of his own framing, and he saw a chance to strike, rallying a group of inmates led by Malik Turner, a wiry lifer framed by Hensley's precinct years ago. Their shared injustice a spark, Isaiah believing a prison uprising could expose the corruption, his voice low but fierce as he planned, his hope a flame, the trial a spectre, Marcus's promise a whisper, Lena's peril a void, the deep fake a storm, the rally's chaos a memory, Tanya's death a wound, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. The uprising erupted in the cafeteria, 60 inmates chanting for justice, Isaiah at the forefront, demanding an investigation into Hensley's bribes, their voices shaking the concrete, a smuggled phone streaming the protest to an activist's blog, the footage spreading online, catching Memphis's news vans, swarming Ironclad's gates, Isaiah's heart racing, believing the exposure would force a retrial, the public's attention a lifeline, the chant a war cry, Marcus's crash a void, Lena's peril a storm, the deepfake a shadow, the rally's chaos a scar, Tanya's death a wound, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's malice was a maelstrom, twisting triumph into chaos, and he orchestrated a riot, bribing guards to unlock rival gang cells, arming them with shivs, the cafeteria exploding into violence, tables splintering, blood pooling Isaiah. Dodging a blade as Malik shielded him, the uprising's message drowned in screams, Hensley's media allies spinning the chaos as Isaiah's terrorist plot, the racist narrative painting him as a black warlord, a violent veteran inciting carnage, the footage edited to show him leading the violence, the public's fleeting sympathy crushed, protests outside Ironclad turning hostile, their signs demanding his execution, the city's streets a war zone, Isaiah's triumph a smoldering ruin, his hope a fading ember, the trial a noose, Marcus's promise a whisper, Lena's peril a void, the deepfake a storm, the rally's chaos a memory, Tanya's death a scar, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah fought to restore order, his war instincts guiding his moves, but a guard's baton cracked his shoulder, pain flaring, and he was dragged to a holding cell, believing he could escape the chaos, his mind racing to contact Miss Evelyn, Lena's guardian, to ensure her safety. A desperate plan to slip a note through an inmate, his hope a fragile thread, believing he'd outmaneuvered Hensley's trap, the trial a spectre, Marcus's crash a void, Lena's peril a storm, the deep fake a shadow, the rally's chaos a say. Wound, Tanya's death a scar, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's operatives were relentless, detonating explosives in the prison's kitchen, a deafening blast rocking ironclad, flames engulfing the West Wing, 12 inmates killed, their screams haunting Isaiah's ears, the media blaming him, claiming he'd rigged the bombs to cover his escape, the racist lie fueling a citywide emergency. Memphis's mayor declaring martial law, checkpoints rising, the public convinced Isaiah was a terrorist mastermind, the prison a battlefield, its survivors baying for his blood, the trial a guillotine, Marcus's crash a storm, Lena's peril a void, the deepfake a shadow, the rally's chaos a memory, Tanya's death a wound, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah seized a moment in the chaos, the explosion's smoke cloaking his escape, crawling through a shattered vent, his shoulders screaming, emerging in a muddy ditch 2 miles from Ironclad, his body battered, believing he'd won freedom to fight, his lungs gasping in the humid air, the city's skyline a taunting silhouette, the trial a spectre, Marcus's crash a void, Lena's peril a storm, the deepfake a shadow, the rally's chaos a scar, Tanya's death a wound, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. The riot, explosion and emergency declaration were a triple blow, each laced with racial venom. Hensley's empire thriving on prejudice, the system a cage, Isaiah's fight a veteran's cry, his heart whispering Lena's name, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each dawn a challenge against a world that sought to break him. As Isaiah Coleman stumbled through a Memphis thicket, 2 miles from Ironclad prison, the humid 94-degree night cloaking his 70-year-old frame, his cracked ribs and grazed arm a searing pulse, the echoes of the prison explosion and Sergeant Victor Hensley's racist manhunt a relentless storm, Lena's safety a flickering hope, Marcus's hospitalization a bleeding wound, the terrorism charges a death sentence, the viral handcuffing a distant scar, Tanya's death a searing loss, Isaiah's war medals a defiled memory, their honor buried under Hensley's hate, his fugitive status a noose, the trial's delay, a rigged guillotine, his Vietnam War resolve a fading ember, his hope pinned on Lena and Miss Evelyn, a fragile spark, the city's racist venom a suffocating tide, his fight a veteran's stand against a system that thrived on his pain. Isaiah rallied his last allies, a small band of activists led by Miss Evelyn, Lena's guardian, who'd evaded Hensley's mercenaries, their safe house 3 miles from Memphis's precinct a crumbling haven, their eyes burning with defiance, their trust in Isaiah a lifeline. His plan to infiltrate the precinct and hack Hensley's private server, a desperate gambit, believing a live broadcast of Hensley's confession could shatter his empire, his heart pounding with the hope of vindication, the trial a spectre, Marcus's promise a whisper, Lena's peril a void, the deepfake a storm, the rally's chaos a wound, Tanya's death a scar, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Under a moonless sky, Isaiah and Evelyn's team slipped into the precinct, a fortress of concrete and surveillance 4 miles from downtown, their steps silent, Isaiah's war instincts guiding them past motion sensors, his trembling fingers. Plugging a drive into Hensley's server, Zara's salvaged code from Part 8 unlocking files, a confession video surfacing, Hensley admitting to framing black men, rigging elections and orchestrating bribes, the footage a thunderbolt, Isaiah's breath catching as he broadcast it live on every Memphis news feed, the city's screens, flashing his truth, protests erupting, thousands chanting for justice, Isaiah believing he'd defeated Hensley, his chest swelling with hope, the public's roar a tide against the system's bias, Lena's courage a beacon, the trial a guillotine but one they could face, Marcus's crash a void, the deepfake a shadow, the rally's chaos a memory, Tanya's death a wound, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's cunning was a viper, striking from the dark, and he triggered a precinct lockdown, steel gates slamming shut, cutting the broadcast, servers sparking, the confession erased, Isaiah's triumph a fleeting blaze, the precinct's lights flickering, alarms blaring. Evelyn's face pale as she urged retreat, but Isaiah refused, his rage a furnace, determined to face Hensley, believing he could end it. Lena's peril a storm, the deepfake a shadow, the rallies, chaos a scar, Tanya's death a wound, his survival a question, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah stormed Hensley's office, the precinct a maze of chaos, finding Hensley alone, his smug grin faltering as Marcus, recovered from the crash, burst in, his four-star general's uniform gleaming, revealing his rank, the words a seismic. Shock? Hensley's eyes widening, his arrogance crumbling, Marcus's voice a growl, accusing Hensley of every crime, the handcuffing, Lena's kidnapping, the murders, the election rigging. Hensley's hands trembling, his denial weak, Isaiah believing they'd won, the confrontation a checkmate against a racist tyrant, the trial a spectre, Lena's peril a void, the deepfake. Say storm, the rally's chaos a memory, Tanya's death a scar, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city's pulse a challenge, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's operatives were relentless, a squad of mercenaries crashing in, their rifles raised, slurs spitting, their loyalty to Hensley a twisted oath, and Isaiah fought, his war instincts a blur, disarming one, but a stun grenade's blast. Dropped him, pain flaring, his vision blurring. Marcus's military team summoned from a nearby base, storming the precinct, gunfire echoing, the mercenaries overpowered, Hensley cuffed, his empire crumbling, a backup feed restoring the confession, airing to millions, Memphis's streets alive with demands for justice, Isaiah's heart racing, believing they'd broken Hensley, the racist system cracking, his fight vindicated, Lena safe, Evelyn's nod a silent victory, the trial a fading shadow, Marcus's crash a wound, the deepfake a lie, the rally's chaos, a scar, Tanya's death a wound, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley in cuffs sneered, vowing revenge, whispering of a larger racist cabal. Shadowy figures above him, his words a chilling hint, Isaiah's victory bittersweet, the confession a spark, but the system's roots deep, the racial bias. A hydra, its heads regrowing, the mercenaries' defeat a fleeting win, Hensley's allies lurking, their power a spectre, the city a tinderbox, protests teetering on violence. Isaiah's body battered, his arm bleeding, Lena's eyes haunted, Marcus's face grim, the cost of their fight a heavy toll. The trial a spectre, the deepfake a shadow, the rally's chaos a memory, Tanya's death a wound, his fight a veteran's cry, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. The broadcast erasure, Marcus's revelation and the mercenary assault were a triple climax, each laced with racial venom. Hensley's empire built on prejudice, his framing of Isaiah a microcosm of systemic injustice, the confrontation exposing the rot, but the cabal hint a new shadow. Isaiah's fight a battle in a larger war, the system's weight a mountain, his allies dwindling, Hensley's arrest a step, not a finish line. Isaiah's heart whispering Lena's name, his survival, a miracle, the city a crucible, each dawn a challenge against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah Coleman stood in the pale Memphis dawn outside the precinct, the air thick with 90-degree heat, his 70-year-old frame a tapestry of scars from Sergeant Victor Hensley's racist vendetta, his grazed arm and cracked ribs a dull ache, Lena's trembling hand in his, Miss Evelyn's weary gaze a silent oath, General Marcus Coleman at his side, his four-star uniform restored, the city's skyline a jagged wound after the broadcast that broke Hensley's empire, a fleeting victory against a system that weaponized Isaiah's blackness, the viral handcuffing a distant scar, Tanya's death a searing loss, the trial dissolved, the terrorism charges dropped, but the cost a pyre of pain, Marcus's crash, Lena's kidnapping, Clara's coma and a city fractured by hate. Isaiah's war medals a defiled memory, their honor a faint echo, the system's racist pulse a lingering venom, his fight a veteran's stand that cracked the machine but left it standing, his heart heavy, Lena's haunted eyes a mirror of trauma, her military career in tatters, Marcus's reinstatement a bitter triumph, the army's apology a hollow gesture, their earlier betrayal a wound that festered, the media's racist lies, terrorist labels, and deep-fake treachery a poison that lingered. Memphis's protests now a blend of hope and fury, their chants demanding reform, Isaiah's name a rallying cry but his spirit bruised. The cost of their fight a heavy toll, the city a crucible, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. Hensley's conviction came swiftly, a life sentence in a federal prison 8 miles away. The judge's gavel a muted thud, the confession video a spark that ignited Memphis, the public's roar a tide, but Isaiah's victory was bittersweet. The system's bias a hydra, its heads lurking beyond the precinct's walls. Marcus's military might a double-edged sword, Lena's future uncertain, Miss Evelyn's prayers a faint comfort, the city's reform a fragile dream, the protests met with batons, the media's narrative shifting, some praising Isaiah, others reviving racist tropes, his blackness still a target, his honor questioned, whispers of tokenism cutting deep, his allies stretched thin, the weight of leadership a boulder, Lena's nightmares a nightly reminder of their scars, the safe house a memory of fear, the trial a specter, the deepfake a shadow, the rallies, chaos a wound, Tanya's death a scar, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each moment a test against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah launched a veteran advocacy group, headquartered 4 miles from the courthouse, to combat systemic racism, appointing Miss Evelyn as his deputy, her resolve a steel spine, their mission to honor Tanya's sacrifice, Clara's fight, and the inmates lost in Ironclad's explosion, each death a debt Isaiah carried, his office a Spartan command center, maps and files charting corruption, his speeches at rallies igniting thousands, his voice raw but resolute urging Memphis to rise, the group's first campaigns exposing dirty cops, their bribes tied to Hensley's old ledgers, a step toward justice, Isaiah believing he'd sparked change, his chest swelling with purpose, Lena's faint smile a return, her courage a beacon, Marcus's support a rock, Evelyn's reports showing progress, the system's cracks widening, reform a distant star, the city's pulse a fragile hope, the protests a chorus, Isaiah's name a symbol, his heart whispering defiance, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. But Hensley's final whisper in the precinct, a vow of revenge, gnawed at Isaiah, his hint of a larger racist cabal, a shadow that grew, the system's prejudice a leviathan, its tentacles reaching beyond Memphis, Isaiah's advocacy group a spark not ablaze, the city's reform teetering, protests clashing with riot police, the media's racist undertones resurfacing, his fight a war, not a battle, his honor a battered shield, Lena's trauma a weight, Marcus's reinstatement a fragile crown, the system's bias a living pulse, each step a gamble, his allies dwindling, the cabal's reach a specter, their next move a phantom, Isaiah's resolve a fire, his heart pounding with dread and defiance, the city a crucible, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. 1 week after Hensley's conviction, Isaiah received a cryptic letter at his office, slipped under the door, his fingers trembling as he opened it, the paper revealing Hensley was a pawn in a national racist network, a cabal of judges, senators, and tycoons targeting black communities, framing leaders, rigging systems, their names coded in symbols, the letter unsigned, its warning chilling, Isaiah's blood freezing, the implications a tidal wave, the system's rot deeper than he'd dreamed, racial injustice a machine with endless gears, Hensley's role a mere cog, the advocacy group a pinprick against a colossus, Lena's safety a prayer, Marcus's face grim as he read it, Evelyn's eyes narrowing, the letter's truth a burden, the city's pulse a hostile hum, the protests a fragile cry, the media's racist lies a storm, Isaiah's fight a veteran's stand, his heart whispering defiance, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each dawn a test against a world that sought to break him. Hours later, news broke. Hensley found dead in his cell, a knife in his chest ruled a suicide, but Isaiah's gut screamed murder, the timing too precise, the letter a warning, the cabal silencing its pawn, their power a shadow, Isaiah's group, now a target. His campaigns a spark in the dark, Lena's hand in his, a lifeline, Marcus's resolve a mirror. The fight for justice a marathon, not a sprint. The cabal's revelation a shattering climax, a twist that flipped Isaiah's victory into a new war, racial injustice a hydra with unseen heads, Hensley's death a cover, the system's prejudice. Hey Fortress, Isaiah's advocacy a flame in the dark, his heart whispering Lena's name, his survival a miracle, the city a crucible, each dawn a challenge against a world that sought to break him. Isaiah Coleman's journey in The Veteran's Stand exposes the brutal reality of systemic racism, showing how institutions exploit prejudice to crush black dignity. His battle against Sergeant Victor Hensley's racist framing, despite personal losses, teaches unyielding resilience. Isaiah's war medals, defiled by hate, symbolize the cost of honor in a biased system, yet his advocacy group's launch proves one voice can spark reform. Lena's courage and Marcus's general status, wielded against Hensley's empire, highlight the power of family and truth, even when betrayed by media lies and deepfakes. Tanya's sacrifice and the prison uprising reveal the human toll of fighting racist corruption, urging us to honor those who fall. The shocking revelation of a national racist cabal warns that injustice is a hydra, requiring relentless vigilance. Isaiah's story challenges us to confront racist systems, amplify marginalized voices, and persist no matter the scars. It's a call to act, whether through advocacy or awareness, knowing reform is a marathon, not a sprint. What racist injustice have you seen and how will you fight it? Comment below, hit like, subscribe, and share to spread Isaiah's stand. Thank you for joining this battle for justice. May you find courage to challenge prejudice daily.